Hello, I'm Charly, and today I'm going to be doing a book talk for An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. So I definitely should be studying right now, and I definitely was studying. I mean, look over here. Look at all of the studying that was happening. I was doing so many poetry essay and Yeats. Yay for Yeats. Oh yes, I love Yeats so much. I just want to read Yeats all of the time. But I really need to get this book talk up because I did finish this book like a month ago now, and I just really need to talk about it, and I need a break from studying, so I decided that it's a good time to do my book talk for this book because this book needs to be talked about. And like, look at I'm proud of my eye makeup, can you tell? No, you can't, I can't be bothered to refocus again, but I did little dots. Maybe you can see them, maybe you can't. So this is a fantasy book which follows two perspectives. It's a dual point of view. We follow Laya, who has just lost her whole family and her brother's just been arrested. And we also follow Elias, who is a soldier in the highest ranking like military school in this world. And their paths inevitably intertwine, obviously, which is what happens in dual point of view books. I'm not going to tell you how. I actually did watch a review that told me how their paths intertwine, but I think that it's a bit too far into the book for me to tell you that, and I think it's really good to go into this book pretty blindly, just knowing that it's a fantasy book, dual point of view, and that it's based loosely off of ancient Rome. Like it has, I know nothing about anything about Rome, or I just know nothing about history basically, but this has like augurs in it. So I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I was really like skeptical going into this book because it had been really highly hyped. So I kind of like didn't want to read it because of that, because I thought I would just get let down, but I kind of waited until the hype died down, and then I went into it with lower expectations, and I really loved this book. So I would definitely recommend going into this book like not knowing too much and not having any expectations. Like that's probably the best way to go into any book, but if you go into this with really high expectations, you might be let down. I don't know how you'd be let down, but I definitely wasn't, so I definitely very much recommend this book. And if you liked Throne of Glass and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, I think you will like this book a lot. I saw elements of those two. So now I'm going to be talking about some things that I liked. The main thing that I liked about this book was just the way that it was written. It's just written in such a way that you cannot stop reading this book, because like every chapter ends on a cliffhanger, but then at the end of every chapter you switch to the other perspective, so then you want to read more so that you can resolve said cliffhanger that just happened, but then you can't because it switches perspectives, and then that one ends on a cliffhanger, and it just like builds up, and it's just so good. And like you can tell that Sabaa Tahir really put a lot of thought into this book. Like she didn't just write it, like she just like, it's just very intricate and complex, but not in a confusing way, and I get confused really easily, and I was not confused at all in this book. I also really loved the characters of this book. I just feel like there was a lot of character development, and I just really got attached to the characters, and they're just so well developed. The only thing that I didn't like so much about this book, which I mean I still gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, but if I had to say the one thing that I didn't like, it would be that I just wanted to know more about the history of the world. Like I was like, did I miss something? Because you're kind of just thrown into this world, and you don't really know the backstory of the world, but that could be a good thing because this is going to be a series, which it was advertised as a standalone. I don't know how anyone, like, no, this isn't a standalone at all. It's not a standalone. But maybe it's a good thing that I didn't get told too much about the world's history, because that might have slowed this first book down. I think it might be good to like reveal things about the world throughout the series, so that might have been why that was done, but I was kind of just confused about why things are the way they are in this world, and I really want some answers to those things. So that is all for the non-spoiler section for this book talk. If you have not yet read this book, then go read it. I definitely recommend it, and then come back and discuss with us. So goodbye for now. If you have not yet read this book, I will see you in my next video. Goodbye! Alright, the first thing I want to talk about is the augurs. Those bros scared the shit out of me. They're freaking terrifying. And another thing that's terrifying is the masks. Like those bros, they're so, oh man, like when they were first describing the way the mask kind of like, it's like, I don't know what I picture it as. I picture it as like this metallic thing I feel like I've seen something like that in a movie. I don't know what movie it is, but like some weird metallic flowing liquid type thing on your face, and then it's got like spikes going into somewhere in your face, and it's like really creepy. That just really like, I was like, oh god, gross. And the way I pictured the augurs is basically a cross between Voldemort and a Dementor. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but that's what they look like in my head. The augurs make me feel so uneasy because I never knew whose side they were on. Throughout this whole book, had no idea whose side they were on. Because they were like throwing like Elias and everyone into all these trials and being really cruel to them, but at the same time, like, helping Elias. A character who I don't understand too well is Cook. Like, I really want to know what her deal is, because at one point I thought that maybe she's the one who betrayed Lia's parents, but like at the same time I don't think that's the whole story. It seems like there has to be more behind it than that. I really loved the friendship between Lia and Issy. I really just love female friendships in books, and this one I just love so much because Izzy just like hasn't opened up to anyone ever. She's just been too scared, and now she's opened up to Lia, and the whole book I was just so scared that Izzy was going to get killed off. I was just like terrified, and I just really hope that in the future books Lia can get Izzy out of the school. Do you know who I really hate? Keenan. I hate that guy. For some reason, I pictured the Commandant as Brienne from Game of Thrones. If you guys watch Game of Thrones and you remember who Brienne is, the like tall, really tall, short blonde hair girl, that's how I pictured the Commandant. And that's how I pictured like she talked as well. But like this whole book, I hated Helene. I just hated her. I didn't like her. And like I enjoyed reading about her, but I didn't like her as a character at all. But then at the end, when she kind of explained everything, I kind of liked her a bit more. I'm still a bit iffy on Helene, and I'm glad that Helene stayed behind and didn't go with Elias and Lia into the tunnel thingy. But yeah, I like her a bit more now, so that's good. I definitely want Lia and Elias to be together. I don't like Helene and Elias. I don't like how Helene, like what kind of a person Elias is around Helene. I prefer how he is around Lia. I found Helene's healing ability to be really weird. Like, where does that come from? And do other characters have abilities? Does Elias have abilities? Does Lia have abilities? That would be interesting. What did you guys get as like backstory goes about the Empire? Because I honestly have nothing. Like, I really want to know how the Empire came to be and like why it is like socially ordered hierarchy type thing the way it is. Like, why is there the scholars, and what are the, like, I was really confused between like what the difference is between like the scholars and the slaves and the like the military people, and then there were like the tribesmen. Like, I don't really understand that. Do you guys understand that? Comment below and tell me. I really loved reading about the trials. Like, the trials were so intense. Like, I've read quite a few books now that have these trial type things, and usually they're kind of just typical, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty harsh, but yeah. But these were so harsh. I never guessed the whole thing at the end where Helene revealed that she'd been spoken to by the augur as well. Like, I really thought that what the augurs said to Elias, like what Elias thought they meant was right. I really thought that he had to become Bloodstrike to get like true freedom, whatever that like prophecy type thing was. I really thought that was what it was. This whole book, I knew that Mazin was a shit dog. I knew it. If you didn't, like, I feel like we were meant to know that kind of, because I just, how can you not know that Mazin was a shit dog? Like, I guessed that from the very start, because like Cook was saying not to trust the resistance and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, Mazin's probably being shitty. And especially when he like wouldn't tell Lia where her brother was and stuff like that, I was like,
you're not actually gonna help her brother, are you?
When Elias had to kill Helene, like kill Helene in that trial, I really thought that Helene was dead. I thought she was dead, thought she was gone, but then she wasn't. But Elias, on the other hand, when Elias came close to death, I didn't think he was going to die. I was like, Elias, he can't die. He's really not going to die. This is the first book. I'm actually really kind of nervous that Darren isn't actually alive. Like, can you imagine in the second book, like, Elia ends up getting to where Darren's supposed to be, and then he's like just died. Like, he's just been killed as soon as she got there. That would be so terrible. I'm really scared that that's gonna happen, honestly. What do you guys think is the deal with Elias's father? Did we get anything about his dad? Like, we got the whole backstory, the kind of like moment of empathy that Elias's mum, the Commandant, had for Elias when she was telling him that, oh, I dropped you off in the middle of nowhere because I thought I wanted you to live, but then I wanted you to die anyway. But did we get anything about his dad? Who is his dad? Are we gonna ever find out about his dad? So that is all for my book talk on An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. Please comment down below and discuss with me. I really love discussing with you guys in the comments in my book talks, so make sure you do that. And yes, I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!